Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, and this is Chapter 3 of Higurashi. The title is above. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. Start. The shortest scenario. Man, curse, or coincidence. How are the conjectures inside you solidifying? I look forward to whether those conjectures will waver or become a cornerstone in this scenario. The difficulty is the worst. You will probably not even be able to make conjectures. Also, let me know how the volume sounds to everyone out there. The snake in the well was happy, for it did not care that it was outside the well. The snake in the well was happy, for it did not do what happened outside the well. And you were happy too, if you did not know what happened outside the well. Is that Russian or German down there? This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to something, we'll never know the rest of that sentence. 1983, early summer, the 58th year of the Showa era. Really should have grabbed a 7-Up. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer, one that wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows. But the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from the coolness. In fact, it only felt more oppressive. There were crooked houses and apartments lining in the narrow, twisting road. As I said before, it'd be interesting for anyone playing this game that hadn't watched the anime before. But even then, imagine each of these chapters, each of these separate Higurashi games, as if they were your very first introduction to Higurashi series. How much of a surprise would it be what happens in the game if you knew nothing else other than what other chapter you are currently on? In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to rot, as well as bicycles and cars on the side of the road. Making it even more cramped, more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily. But in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. The lone motorcycle, which couldn't be called neat, even as flattery, pulled up to a 2-story apartment complex and stopped there. A man fairly old and wrinkled stepped off. When the housewife hanging out the laundry noticed him, she called out, "Well, hello there. It's quite hot today again, isn't it?" "Whew, you got that right. I feel like I'm going to boil out here." "Oh, right, landlord. I didn't think that would be the first thing you said." "Oh, sorry. The fluorescent lights, right?" "I completely forgot." "No, not that. Don't you smell it? There's a terrible smell about. I've been smelling it since this morning. Wait, what's this? It reeks. Did the sewers get backed up again?" "Do something about it, landlord. I've had to keep my nose plugged all day." "You'd still look plenty lovely plugging your nose, my dear." There was an unhygienic drainage channel running behind the apartment. The lattice from which it flowed was stuffed with branches and fallen leaves, and when filth got caught up in them, it created an awful stench in the summertime. Could you tell the municipal office about it? I'm gonna go grab a 7-Up and perhaps try to cough a lot downstairs. Be right back. Sorry for the interruption. I know it's a horrible way to start a game. Or a story. Even though you guys can hear me from very far away now. I'm back. I got a drink. Could you tell the municipal office about it? The drain will end up buried at this rate. Well, yikes. It's completely blocked, eh? It'll start back up if you poke it with a stick. The man crossed the fence over the drainage channel and picked up a filthy drying pole sitting nearby. He must have planned to stick it in the drain and clear it out. Ah, wait, landlord, stop that. If you mix it all strange if you do that. It will smell terrible. It smells if it's clogged and smells if it's mixed. Which should I choose? He shoved the drying pole into the filth in the lattice. Of course, it did not help the accumulation of waste. Yeah, it's a dead cat. This is the health center's job. Cats and dogs smell awful when they die. A bamboo pole, not going to do much good. Garbage bags, old clothes, they throw all kinds of stuff in there. And is that a duck I see? Well, of course it stings. The nerve of some people. The drainage channel was already unsanitary. What was a little more garbage at this point? The stream of such imprudent people was never-ending, and now the channel had turned into a garbage dump. When he poked the pile of old clothes floating in the sewage, a black cloud of smoke floated out in the water. The two of them grimaced at the terribly bizarre and repulsive sight. Gah! We've got maggots, eh? Someone must have thrown kitchen waste in. What? Landlord, what's that? What? Just more garbage. But landlord? That's... Huh? Eek! Oh, hello. Good work today. What a terrible stench. Hey, someone cover this thing with a tarp. It's in plain sight of the 2-floor houses. Identity of the deceased unknown. Sex female. Age estimated to be late 20s, early 30s. Time of death about 2 or 3 days ago. She was probably abandoned after death. Naked too? Figuring out who she is will be rough. Contact the community division and ask if anyone's gone missing. They probably weighed her down so she'd sink. Then the weights came off and she floated to the top. But why in a drainage sewer of all things? Would have been better under an overpass. Or in the mountains, you know? And it would have been outside our jurisdiction, right? But it looks like they never wanted to hide the corpse at all. Did they do it so she would be found? As a warning or something? This slice in her stomach definitely wasn't from a fish eating her. She was cut open and her insides were dragged out. They really made a show out of killing her. Doesn't the Chinese mafia do these sorts of traditional punishments? Ask Shige-san in Section 4 if he's had any trouble with the Yakuza. On it, sir. Still, what a terrible way to go. Hey, don't her innards poking out like that? Sort of. Like the salad soba you can get in Kyoto. Great, now I can never fucking eat that again. Maybe if you stuck chopsticks in, noodles would pop out, see? Ugh. Please give me a break. Her intestines were pulled out and her ears and nose were cut off. That's definitely not how I'd want to go. Her fingers are in a bad state, too. There are long nails stuck in all of them. On both hands. What kind of torture was this, anyway? The most relaxing time during the school day? Lunch, for sure. Everyone brought their desks side by side, like always, and we all ate together. Oh my, Mion-san, if I may say, your lunch looks quite appetizing today. There are so many different things, it's wonderful. Satoko and Rika-chan looked at Mion's lunch, shouting gladly, Let's have a look. Whoa! I just packed in some leftovers from last night. All the elders were having a drinking party at my house yesterday. I managed to nab some of what they didn't eat. So that's why they all look like snacks you could have with sake. They're but leftovers, mere scraps of food. But when arranged into a bento box so cleanly, they look impressive. It looks like part of a full-course meal at a high-class restaurant. People seem to decide if they like things mainly based on their first impression, so I thought maybe the taste of the bento would be proportional to how pretty it was when you opened it. You may seem unrefined, Mion-san, but you are positively splendid at arranging food like this. Her room is nice and tidy, too. I hope I'm not coughing in every fucking video in the future. Mi-chan is a lot more organized and polite than everyone thinks. It's all the same, once it hits your stomach. I'd have thought Mion would say something like that, but to think she had this kind of taste. You can't judge a book by its cover. Mion was careful in everything she did. She never misstepped, faltered, or messed up. I see. She is our club president, after all. Yours is nothing to scoff at either, Rada. Your kababoko flower is very pretty. You know, Rena, your lunch always has, like, an art to it. Like it has a rabbit-shaped apple slices and carrot flowers and stuff. Rena's bento wasn't all about taste. It was like, like she always put her heart into it, or something. It wasn't just good. It made your insides all nice and warm. Ha 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 ha. Thanks. It's not quite as good as Mi-chan's, but I wanted to make it really cute, huh? Cooking isn't about skill, it's about love. In that sense, I don't even come up to your feet. Love, huh? Yeah, just from looking at her bento, I could definitely feel that Rena put her heart and soul into making it. That's what her bento is like. The taste isn't all that counts for a bento. How it looks also matters. I suppose we must learn from this too. Ha! So, let's see Satoko and Rika-chan's up-and-coming bento. Whoa! Ta-da! Woohoo! Whoa! Yesterday our neighbor shared some meat with us, so we ended up grilling it for our bento. These ones, too. They had such an impact. They were bursting at the seams with grilled meat. At a glance, it was too impactful for a girl's bento. But when you thought about eating with all of your friends, it brought more than enough color to the table. Wow! At first, it looks like the kind of crude bento that a jock would eat. But there are so many different things in here, like boiled spinach and soy sauce and stewed hijiki. I don't even know, like obviously I know what spinach tastes like and I know what soy sauce tastes like, but I have never cooked spinach in soy sauce. Anytime I've used soy sauce, it's always been for Chinese food. I've never used it with spinach. Usually I've cooked spinach with mainly butter and salt. And I don't even know what this is. Rika-chan, you're really good at this kind of unaffected cooking, huh? Yep, I think Rika-chan will make a great wife when she grows up. I have a tight hold on my future husband. A husband for Rika-chan, huh? At first it sounded appealing. It did, but I felt like a married life with her would be anything but normal. But really, everyone was amazing. They were all so young, and yet they are all capable of cooking for themselves. I would sort of cook whenever I was camping with my family. But making lunch every day was a level I definitely couldn't reach. I can only really cook in my spare time. When I thought about it like that, it really made everyone stand out more. Frankly, I respected them. Huh? I feel like maybe this doesn't only apply to other people. Come to think of it, this morning, when I was eating breakfast half asleep, I think my mom was saying something really important. Huh? With a historical groan. I suddenly stopped startling everyone at once. What's wrong? Cough, cough. You'll make us choke if you shout like that suddenly, you know. There's rice coming out of your nose, Satoko. I had forgotten all this stuff about cooking for yourself. It applied to me too. Keiichi, your mom and dad need to go to Tokyo again for business. Yeah. Yawn. Sleepy. Your dad's mentor fell ill right before an event he was taking part in. It's a very important event, and they need someone to fill in. Well, Dad does what he has to do for his job. Choo-choo. So your dad and I, you see, we need to go to Tokyo as fast as we can to help with the event. We might have to stay there for a few days depending on what happens. That sounds annoying, yawn. While we're gone, we won't be here, so you'll need to make your own meals for yourself. Are you okay with that, Keiichi? I'll be fine. Humans can do anything when they're desperate. If that's so, that's a relief. You can at least cook rice, right? I know this may sound a bit odd as I take a sip of my 7-Up. One, I don't really cook rice very often. You know, there's plenty of other food I prefer to cook. Two, when I do cook rice, the brine that comes in jars of banana peppers? Like pickles? One would call it pickle juice, but banana peppers. The brine that's in with banana pepper juice in the glass jar, I'll pour a little bit of that into my rice when I'm cooking it. Not too much, or else, but just a little bit. Maybe just a few ounces. And you can make miso soup as well. Then you just buy some side dishes and you have a meal. A meal. Yeah. I can cook rice with my camping kit. Never used a rice cooker before. Choo-choo. I've only ever made instant miso soup that you make in a pot of boiling water too. Well, I think of something. Choo-choo-choo. If you can cook for yourself, then you don't need much money, do you? No eating out. It's too expensive. You're at the age where you should learn about cooking and personal finance now, after all. Yep. I'll get by. No, I won't! What was I thinking? I was half asleep and I made such crazy empty promises. Just like manga characters always do at times like these. I bent over backwards and scratched furiously at my head. Scratch. Guys, if me and all of you were hanging out in person right now, and I behaved like an anime character, would you think I was weird? Well, I mean, more weird than I already am. I'm just saying, would you resent it? As we're hanging out eating. That being said, you guys make the bento box. Or buy lunch, one of those. Huh? Keiichi-kun, your parents sure have it rough. Anyway, you need to keep things in order while they're gone. Anyway, food! My parents aren't here. I have to make it myself, you know. This is a huge emergency. Should you not simply give up and cook for yourself? Keiichi-san, did you not make a fabulous curry dish for the curry party previously? I have never once cooked curry in my life. Honestly, curry is something that's not very many places have that available. It's just not a common thing where I live. Listen here, my mom taught me how to cook that curry when we camped, and it's the best I can do. I'm sure there's a place I could probably get curry if I drove maybe 20 miles from here. Somewhere. But I can't say like I'm that interested. Like if I was in a place like, oh, it's a side thing to do, like, oh, it's curry, sure, why not? But I'm just not that interested in getting curry. I don't know. How many of you actually eat curry? I can't eat curry 3 meals a day. I mean, it's just junk food in the first place. There's no nutritional balance whatsoever, and it's just completely... Our teacher is a curry priestess or something with me. Stupid! Shh! Mia and Satoko put their hands over her mouth. A moment later, the door rattled open, and Chie-sensei, a known curry maniac, suddenly poked her head in. Did I just hear somebody bad-mouthing curry? Yes, I said I can't cook it very well. No, we didn't say anything. Everyone's face went totally white, and they all shook their heads in denial. Her eyes rolled over the classroom. Her glare wasn't just a teacher's ordinary glare. Is that so? Must have been the wind. Chie-sensei gave one more look around the classroom, then closed the door and went back to the teacher's lounge. I may have been shouting, but for her to hear from all the way across the hall in the teacher's lounge, that teacher is terrifying. Kei-chan, you can disparage other foods all you want, but you might want to stay away from curry. Here's the thing, what types of curry even are there? And what do you, like, if anyone out there actually eats curry, what do you eat with your curry? Like, what is, air quotes, normal for curry? Like, because I have no idea. It's just, obviously, I've heard about it, I've seen curry before, I've tried it. I know I have a few times in the past, it's just... It's just not a common thing. Plus, most of my life has been spent working, you know, manual labor stuff, and I'm pretty worried that if I were to eat curry that I imagine I would get yelled at for having to go to the bathroom so much. Also, I mean, here's a weird thing. I know Kei-chan like called curry junk food, but like anytime I hear or see about anybody that like eats curry regularly, they tend to be very skinny people. They're not fat at all. I don't know if there's a reason for that. Is it the seasoning? Is the seasoning just like boost your metabolism? I'm like making an arrow as if your heart rate's going up. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I don't know, what foods do you guys think are good? I know it may sound dumb, but you know like stuffing, the stuff for Thanksgivings? Now granted, a lot of people during Thanksgiving will cook it like in a fucking turkey or some shit, but... I'll cook turkey in a pot. You know, just a big pot. The same way you would cook rice, really. But it's stuffing, and technically they're both grain. It's just, 1, stuffing's easier, 2, it tastes better. Plus, I mean, sometimes you'll cook some, like, gravy or something and add that to the stuffing. Or sometimes I'll cook some meat on the side and stir that in. Or you can chop some vegetables. But honestly, most of the time I'm kind of lazy about it. I just cook a big pot of stuffing, add some butter. And those of you who aren't familiar with stuffing, I guess there's a brand called Stovetop if you want to see the normal, air quotes, to be expected version of it. Some people do it completely homemade. I don't do that. I just usually cook it from home, from like the boxes. But it's basically bread and seasoning, but it's much better than I make it sound. I make it sound terrible. It's actually really good, though. There's many different ways of cooking it, many different types of seasoning. I suppose the same is true of curry, but I'm not really familiar with the intricacies of curry. I suppose I'll try some curry again at some point in the future. Just if I have the opportunity. 2, if it looks good. And 3, if I don't have to worry about like working that day. Because again, it's just, that could definitely cause some problems. At least as long as you live in Hinamizawa. Okay, I'm sorry. That's what I said, but still, I can't have curry for every meal. And cup ramen is good, because you only eat it once in a while. But if you ate it for every meal, you'd get bored of it pretty quickly. Rice and miso soup and a good side dish, yeah, that's what a Japanese table should look like. Why can't you just cook for yourself? Rice, you make it yourself, is really good. This old man thinks it's more of a pain than good. Now, it also keeps in mind that 1, we're in Japan, and 2, this is 1983. To be completely fair, I hadn't even been born yet. I would not be born for several more years by the time that this game is taking place in. So I really don't know what foods were readily available at the grocery store and what was really being sold compared to nowadays. Because nowadays I feel like there's a lot more instant food and just prepackaged stuff than there was back then. But even then, I imagine, what would I do? Well, I'd probably just buy some meat, some onions, and cook them in a skillet. And then I just put them in a Tupperware container and eat them cold at school. Because, microwaves, I don't think a microwave is available at school. Then again, when I was in school, we just had the normal school lunches in America. A small carton of milk, a vegetable, a fruit, a piece of bread, and some sort of side. Once a week we had pizza. It was like, Tostino's pizzas is basically what it was. It was like those little rectangle pizza slices that they cooked in giant sheets. And you maybe had like a little side of like some sliced pineapples and some green beans and a piece of bread. Normal school lunch stuff. Which honestly, I didn't really care for. But hey, it's better than what most people have, so I should be grateful for that. But experience it every once in a while and you might be nice. My mom cooked a lot of stuff homemade. I'd sit in the kitchen and annoy her a bit. Hopefully not annoy her, but I'd talk to her. But she'd cook things like a normal meal would consist of, say, maybe cook some lasagna. Where you actually have a giant, cake pan and you're like have these egg noodles that got boiled ahead of time. And then you add various types of cheeses, cooked meat, like hamburger in a separate skillet, or some sausage, and then onions, green peppers, various types of seasonings, spaghetti sauce, stuff like that. Or cook a pot of spaghetti, or cook some pork chops, or some ham and gravy, or some fried potatoes where you just like chop up potatoes, you cook them in a skillet with butter and salt, or some macaroni and cheese and beans. But I'm just saying, I'll cook stuffing. I cook some stuff from time to time, but honestly a lot of times it's just, I'll cook some sausage in a skillet, or eggs, or I'll cook stuffing, or I'll just cook some various vegetables and meats in a skillet and just stir them around and add some sort of sauce. Heck, I've added steak sauce into a pan full of green peppers, onions, and some chopped hamburger. That's right, life is all about experience, right? But honestly, a lot of times if I cook, half the time I tend to cook on a skillet, And half of that time it tends to be like grilled cheese sandwiches. But when you cut your fingers or burn yourself, it's so sad, so very sad. With everyone encouraging me like this, I started to feel like maybe I could do it if I tried to. Though approximately one person didn't sound like she was encouraging me. Cooking is a skill I have to learn at some point, since I want to live on my own someday. Maybe learning how now wouldn't be so bad. Amazing man thing says, in 1983, how much stuff would you really have? Like, honestly, if I didn't have access to a stove or anything, I'd just buy a box of cereal and eat it dry. Maybe learning now wouldn't be so bad. I'm pretty uneasy about it, but you're right. If I don't understand how to cook a few things around here, then I won't be in good shape the next time our club does a cooking showdown. Oh ho ho, you are correct. That clever trick of yours, the last curry contest, won't work on me every time. After all, as if scorning me, Satoko ridicules my comeback from a hopeless situation in a certain do-or-die curry showdown. And what are you so relaxed for? You relied entirely on Rika-chan back then, didn't you? What did you cook at the time exactly? You put a bag of salt in Rena's curry, a bag of salt in Mion's rice, and you tipped over my pan. I relapsed into my grudge over the last curry showdown. For now, I calmed my unquellable anger by pinching Satoko's ears. Ow! My attack was because that was what they were doing for a club. I may not look like it, but I can do a little bit of cooking. Can you now? Even when you couldn't peel one carrot during the showdown? And how to get Rika to do it? Don't be so daft. People get better every day, you know? If you think I'll always be crummy at cooking, then you're quite mistaken. Right, Rika? I have to watch or else I'll get worried about the pot in the flame. Sometimes you forget to turn the gas off, too. Waha, everyone bursts in laughter. That shouldn't be an issue of cooking. Even I would never do that. I don't want to hear that from someone who eats nothing but cup ramen. But Satoko can cook pretty well for herself, you know. Rena, it's fine. You don't need to force yourself to cover up for her like that. No, she's not trying to cover up for her or anything. It's just that Rika-chan's cooking is by far the best of all of us, so hers doesn't stand out. Satoko has mastered the basics too, right? At the very least, she can cook rice and miso soup. Well, she can't quite tell the difference between cauliflower and broccoli, though. They're both... Anyway, why don't you boil them? No, they taste distinctly different. What do you guys normally... How do you guys normally eat this stuff? Satoko erupted in anger, making two fists and swinging them above her head. Everyone laughed a lot after that. Wahaha. Gwahahaha. Meow. The others don't matter. I cannot stand being laughed at by you, Keiji-san. Gahahaha. You perhaps... Yes, I do lag behind everyone else in terms of cooking skill. But at least I'm confident I never lose to you, Satoko. Honestly, I can't blame people for this. Because honestly, I'll tell you this. When I was a teenager, I'm pretty sure 99% of all the other teenagers in the school I was at probably couldn't cook. I could cook some, but I'm not a fucking chef. I wouldn't say my cooking skills any progressed much further than that. I really don't cook very often. A lot of times if I eat, it's usually fast food, or if I'm cooking stuff myself, like I'll make a bowl of cereal. A lot of times I really just don't cook. And like I said, grilled cheese sandwiches, stuff like that, cooked vegetables. A lot of times I'll make like a bowl of cereal, or I'll open a couple cans of tuna and add some vegetables, and there's no cooking required there. Maybe some out of a jar of capers. They're like little green vegetables, or onions or stuff. Add some ranch dressing maybe, out of a fucking bottle. Make a fucking lunch meat sandwich. You just open a loaf of bread, some mayo, mustard, maybe some vegetables, but predominantly it's just, okay, mayonnaise, bread, meat, and cheese. No cooking required. Heck, nowadays you can just get a fucking protein bar. Not to you, at least. What was that? I'm just saying this. I would not trust even the average 14-year-old to be cooking anything. Hell, I know women in their 20s and 30s who can't fucking boil water. Yes, that's really awful. You have the gall to say you're confident. That's what's daft here. I might not seem like a good cook, but I take turns with Rika, you know? I can cook just fine for myself, you know? Thank you. I see. Good for you for being able to cook. I'll buy some candy for you as a present later. I patted Satoko on the head while I made fun of her. Satoko seemed to know I was making fun of her too, since her face was bright red very quickly, and steam started to pour out like she was a kettle. Mika! You guys remember that? I remember there being there was a VTuber who would make like kettle noises. Heck, she actually looked a lot like this. I think her name was like Pikami or something. And she'd make like kettle noises. Huh. I was saying before that Rika Furude looks like Numi. Satoko looks like Pikami. Wonder if the personalities of these characters are the same. Then again, if the question is that, then what VTuber are Mion and Shion? Heck, do we even know Shion exists in this timeline? What about Rena? Don't know. Heck, imagine like whoever you are out there, whatever VTubers you watch, and everyone's like, we don't watch VTubers, like whatever. At that point, just imagine if you made a version of Higurashi story that was just based off of VTubers. Then I still think it'd be interesting if you made a mod of Shadow of War or of Halo based on Higurashi. You don't believe me, do you? Anyway, I can cook far better than you, Keiji-san. I see. Then if you can tell me the difference between cauliflower and broccoli, I'll believe you. Come on, let's hear it. Is she colorblind? The green one is... Okay, she can see colors. Green is broccoli, or not the yellow one. Cauliflower is red, blue, green. Okay, I'll be honest. Broccoli is green, cauliflower is white. I understand there's other colors of cauliflower, but they're really not sold here. I've seen, on rare occasions, red cauliflower. I've seen different colored... I think I've seen purple cauliflower. But, like I said, heck, I know I've seen yellow cauliflower too. But predominantly, I pretty much always eat white cauliflower and green broccoli. Then again, I can't remember the last time I ate either of those things. Come on now. What color is broccoli? It's not red, blue, green like television. Oh my god, you guys remember RBG? Heck, original cathode ray televisions. And where the screens themselves were like really large rectangular pixels, to where technically the only colors that existed on a screen were red, blue, and green. And by using different combinations of them, you could get other colors. Nowadays, we've gone past that with like LEDs and HD televisions and 4K and all that shit. But it used to be like television worked differently, largely based on how the screen worked. That's also why a lot of the old retro games that came out back when television used to rely on cathode ray technology until, you know, we left the analog era and went into the digital world. Well, a lot of color palettes were based off of those old screen technologies. And so, if you wind up having those same, like, here's the thing. Obviously, you can do a remaster, get the color palettes updated for modern era, and of course, it'll look better than the older retro games would in the old format currently. But the old retro games in their original format actually looked better on the cathode ray. Now, obviously, new modern stuff looks better on the new modern stuff, but like obviously, I like the improved in graphics, let alone the new color palettes and options that exist in games. But I'm saying that a lot of the color palettes were chosen the way they were based on the way cathode ray technologies worked and the way the television screens in the past worked. Heck, I wonder how many people nowadays would remember what a telephone booth is, or, you know, what the static snow on television is, or antennas, you know, from back when you didn't even have cable, or even cable for that matter. Heck, I remember time before the internet existed. I remember before cell phones existed. I didn't have my first cell phone until I was already an adult. And I already graduated from high school. And even then, texting didn't exist yet. And then it wasn't until like early 20s I had availability of texting. And it was... it was 7777. Oh, that's an S. And the internet, when it first came out, it was dial-up. It was slow. There was nothing on the internet. It was just, you know, stuff to research for a paper for school. And that's pretty much it. Oh, there's Newgrounds. Newgrounds.com, some Flash animations. That's basically all there was. YouTube didn't even exist yet. I don't even think Facebook, MySpace, or any of that existed. Twitter wouldn't exist for like another decade or two. So, yeah. Heck, online dating I don't think even started, period, until, well, I would say like 2012. But technically YouTube started as a dating site. It was, people were supposed to upload videos themselves, and then it became a thing where people were just, because people were just trying to be sociable, I guess. But then it was just cat videos and people playing video games. And at that time, nobody was monetized at all. There was no, basically YouTube, I remember the late 2000s, like 2007. Heck, I even remember in 2009, I'd be watching, heck, even by 2011, I'd be watching YouTube. In 2011, I'd be watching YouTube like Proton John, Freelance Astronauts, Ultra J Man. I think it was still a couple more years until Markiplier would show up, which he is awesome, by the way. But I would enjoy so much just sitting watching people doing Let's Plays. And here's the thing. Aside from that, it was music videos like called AMVs that were animated music videos made out of mashed up anime shows that were edited really awesomely. And then you also had anime, and you really just had people talking about stuff. Just random freeform blogs. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, apparently. Aside from that, cat videos. And that was YouTube. And I'll tell you this. I watched people playing like ROM hacks of like Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. It was awesome. But I'll tell you this. Almost everybody I knew, like everybody in the world, didn't know what a YouTube was. And even those who heard about him, they're like, oh, it's that thing with the cat video, isn't it? That's it. YouTube was like a completely underground thing that basically nobody knew about. And now it's something like everybody on the planet uses. My ear is itchy. I just think it's really cool, all the retro games that exist. Heck, I like this art style. I like the way, and I know technically there's another sprite model for this too, but I like the art of this game. Heck, even this background picture like this. All of this is awesome. I like it. Whoever, well, obviously it says at the start of the game, but I'm just saying, 07 expansion and everyone involved in Higurashi. Are you guys going to make another Higurashi game at any point? Are we ever going to get more Higurashi anime? Or is that done? Are you guys working on new projects? What are they? I imagine they'll be good. Come on, say it, say it. Sadako can just cook just fine without knowing what color buwakwi is, right? Good for you, good for you. Wah! Stupid KK! Wah! Oh, it was nothing to cry hysterically about. She's so goddamn cute. I stroked her head as hard as I could. Ruffle, ruffle, ruffle. If you're going to act so smug, then you can surely show us something better than Satoko. Remarked Mion, giving me just a slightly mean smile. Actually, well, I had no confidence in my cooking at all. I imagine, like, you'd be okay if you could look it up on the internet, and, you know. But that doesn't exist yet. Hell, the Mandela effect didn't exist by that point either. I think that started in 2009. No, it was late 2008 when the Mandela effect started happening. I didn't read the thing. Actually, well, I decided to deliver an impressive declaration. We're gonna have a contest. Just you wait. Tonight I will make the best darn meal you've ever seen. I'll even make a little too much and make it for lunch tomorrow, and you'll be so surprised you'll fall over. I mean, technically, if we have all day, we can just cook it tomorrow night. That sounds like fun. I can't wait for lunchtime tomorrow. Rika-chan petted me on the head. Her words of can't wait sounded so transparent. I can't wait. Aha! Ren is excited too. I promise I won't laugh no matter what you make. Alright, so maybe I'll go out on my bento tomorrow too. Then let's do this. Let's have a bento showdown tomorrow. As a club activity, of course. And we'll throw in a punishment game too. My, what an ingenious idea that is. How is that, Keiichi-san? I'll give you one chance to back down. Sayako wiped her tears and startled me. What? As if this was her chance to turn things around. Huh, maybe this is bad. I feel like maybe this conversation is getting pretty out of hand. Oh, if I apologize now is my chance? But what came out of Keiichi-Maru's mouth was a statement so reckless it even frightened me. Yeah, you're on! My bento tomorrow will knock you right out of your shoes. Whoa! Everyone raised their voices in surprise at my bold, confident reply. Ah, now I've done it. What have I done? I'm so irresponsible. So, Mion-san, what sort of fantastic punishment game will we have to play if we lose? Satoko grinned fearlessly, as if to say that it was already decided I'd be playing said fantastic punishment game. Coo. Let's see. That reminds me of Mega Man Legends. Let's see, how about this? Whoever loses tomorrow's bento showdown, during lunch break tomorrow, has to go up to Chie-sensei as she's eating in the teacher's lounge and say bad things about curry. Mimi-chan, that's... How terrifying. Everyone went pale and gasped at how truly terrifying the punishment game was. She then kills the person and makes them into human curry and serves it to the rest of the class. Chie-sensei is such a maniac about curry that she'd risk her life for it. And to go up to her and start saying bad things about curry? What kind of fate would await us? Just trying to imagine it was scary, and everyone else looked blankly amazed at the terrifying punishment game Rika-chan spoke. Tomorrow's contest will be decided by skill. Rena and Mion and Satoko and everyone nodded deeply in agreement. Trying to make shorter videos. Tomorrow's contest. I do like the timestamps. Because I always forget when I make these fucking things. Because it's cool to come back to an older game and see, oh, I last played this 6 months ago, or 4 years ago, or something. But later, guys, I hope everyone out there has all the hugs and head pats you could ever want. And thanks for hanging out with me, as tsundere as I am. Goodbye.